Hey NAI football fans, Cory Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIF Ball Podcast, powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, guys, tonight we go back to the Sun. We had on a couple weeks ago St. Thomas's head coach, and now we head just north of St. Thomas to West Palm Beach with Keiser head coach Doug Socha. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, man. I appreciate you having us on here tonight.
Hey, not a problem. I know St. Thomas had said a couple weeks ago that they were jumping right into spring ball. When does y'all spring ball start?
So we were scheduled yesterday, and obviously, like in typical South Florida fashion, we got lightning that came out of nowhere. Right at the time when we were supposed to take the field. So some of these afternoon storms that come in, they've come a little bit early. So we're kicking off tomorrow.
That's vintage Florida right there. I'm not even gonna lie.
No doubt.
So, looking at your setup from a year ago and going back through your schedule, one thing that really stands out to me of this Keiser team is the way that y'all ground through adversity. It seems that maybe this year it was a little, the road was a little tougher for y'all than in previous seasons. Just talk about your team's ability to bounce back from adversity over the past season.
Yeah, I think it was, I think they did a great job of, adjusting, and it was a process. And, whether it was a quarterback, instability at that position or inconsistency, inconsistency with some injuries and some different things, but our team certainly did a great job. And, everyone had to deal with coming off of COVID and getting to what, you'd think is more normal. But, I think our team did a good job, and we got ourselves in position at the end of the season to play better and to get ourselves in the playoffs. And, so I was proud of that. I think it's going to carry on with some dividends here as we move into the future, no doubt.
You talk about that quarterback instability. You start off the year with Jack Strauss taking your snaps, and you make your way through Shea Spencer, who takes some snaps, and you finally kind of settle on Jonathan Mosley. Talk to me about the process of going through and finding the right guy to replace Matthews.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. And it's, you just got to, find the right guy for your system. And, we got ourselves through summer, got into training camp rather in August. And, these guys kind of battled. And, John Mosley was a late comer to our program. He really joined us on August 1st, and I think if he would have joined us in June, like some of the other guys in the summer, he would have had, tremendous amount of growth, and so it ended up, obviously we had some inconsistencies, and, Jack was the starter, and then, we went to Shea, and then Shea, kind of got knocked out of, commission against Southeastern. And then we decided, hey, next week we're going with John. We want to give this guy a shot, and he really did a good job. And we started, really clicking, and the team rallied around him. And Shea came in the last game against Lindsey Wilson and really was productive. And both those guys, they know our offense, they fit our system, and I think it's going to be some really good, healthy competition as we get into spring. And we talked yesterday about how we're going to get up these reps and who's going to be with the first team, who's going to be with the second team, and it's really going to be a day by day competition, and who can be the best, most productive guy each day. And the guy that wins out is going to win the reps for the next day. So it's a day to day competition.
That's always the most fun way to do it. See who's gonna come out ahead. Offensively, you've got quite a few folks coming back, whether it be Mosley or Patterson or Shea Spencer. Sorry,
Shea Spencer will be back in Mosley. Those guys are going to battle it out here in the spring.
Yep. You've got two all-conference linemen coming back. You've got Marcus Burgess back for another season. Talk to me about getting better offensively and finding that identity?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the foundation of our program, we want to be a tough physical football team. And if you look at our last game against Lindsey Wilson, we were not the toughest, most physical team on the field, and we've taken that personal. And we've got a great running back who's tough and physical, and this can continue to improve. And we've got this line of scrimmage that has to improve, and there's some youth and there's some guys coming back, and it's really about our off season. It's really got to be a mindset and a mentality in how we approach it. And even on the perimeter, we've got some playmakers that can make plays with the ball, but we're challenging those guys to be tougher and to evaluate themselves when they don't have the ball. And that's one of our big focuses. So, I think, the quarterback situation is going to play itself out. It's going to be a competition probably down to the wire. Obviously, we've got an All-American running back coming back who really helps with what we do. And, Jalen Arnold is back. Those receivers, there's going to be a lot of competition. We've got some newcomers coming in. So I expect us to be, better. And but we've got to start in the spring just really adjusting our mindset and trying to be the most physical, toughest football team on the field. And certainly our schedule, and we can talk about that a little bit, is going to be a good one.
That it is. I definitely am looking forward to your schedule this year. Defensively, you lose a big piece up front with Victor Alvarez Jr., a guy who created chaos along the line of scrimmage. But you do bring back a lot of folks along your defensive front seven there, whether it be Alessandro Cantillo, Byron Fraley, or in your backfield with Sage Chen Young. I feel like I've been saying his name for like 6 or 7 years now. I mean, he was great as a freshman and has just continued to improve. Or whether it be Wesley Scott or Wendell Philord. Talk to me about your defense and continuing to grow and become more disruptive.
Yeah, I think obviously we're going to miss Victor, but we've got some guys coming back that we're really high on, and obviously Cantillo has been with us since day one. Cam Allen's a guy who's coming off of his best season in his time with us, and I expect him to be even better because he's going to be in better shape than he's ever been. And obviously Byron Fraley, wants to be that middle linebacker. He's got to be the quarterback of the defense. He's got to take control of that. Wendell Philord makes things happen in the back end, and obviously Sage Chen Young. So, we've got some pieces at all three levels that really, make it happen. And then obviously there's going to be a lot of competition. Wesley Scott's a guy that's versatile. Jalen Willis is a younger guy that we're really high on. JT Black on the defensive line. And, we've got some newcomers coming in as well. So should be some really good battle. And, we made a transition with our defensive coordinator spot, and I expect us to be a lot better on defense.
Let's talk about that schedule real quick. I noticed that, y'all didn't sign up to play Lindsey Wilson for a fourth time in 3 years. Had about enough of them. They probably hadn't bad enough of y'all. But it's definitely a one that is a very challenging schedule as the Sun splits back off into its own conference. One that I've got circled on my calendar that I'll be able to get up to, Lord willing, is the Valdosta State game, going and playing at Valdosta, going and playing a team who was a national champion 2 years ago is going to be a challenge for y'all. Talk about that schedule and how you're building that out with a new conference.
Yeah, so obviously we've got our conference, we've split. So, we're going to end up playing Warner twice. And, there was other options to play another team twice, but I don't think that helps us in the big picture of developing a program and developing, a reputation here in the South. And, Bill Reichel and I have talked about that. And scheduling has been, a bit of a challenge for us. And, but I've always wanted to challenge our football team to be the best that they can be, and, schedule to be challenged. And certainly we're going to be challenged. We're going to go to Valdosta State, who is coming off of a national championship appearance. Obviously, we know all about those guys. Mississippi College is another D2 school. I've actually got a third D2 school I won't disclose right now because the contract's not signed. But we want our football team to be challenged. We're going to be challenged, and it should definitely keep the focus of our team as we head into conference play.
There's definitely not any let up on that schedule. I mean, whether it's Mississippi College of Valdosta State or whether it's Southeastern or St. Thomas, there is no let up on this schedule, and that makes me really excited to watch. Talk a little more about splitting off the Sun and getting back to your your conference the way that it was a few years ago before joining the Mid-South.
Yeah, so obviously we've got our teams here in the Sunshine State, and that's I think it's going to be a conference that is going to really grow and develop into being really good because there's a lot of talent. You got Florida Memorial down there in Miami that is just trying to make their way through it, but they're in a talent-rich area that really started football when COVID hit. So they were, I wouldn't even count that year. So I think they're still like a second-year program. St. Thomas has made tremendous strides. Very talented football team. Coach Reichel's done a great job. They're building facilities that are going to really attract players that are going to want to be there. Obviously, Ave Maria, they're a scrappy, good team. You got Southeastern, Warner, Weber up there. Hopefully, I didn't leave anybody out. But I feel like our conference is got to be something that is going to make some push here on a national prominence, and the way I look at it, if we all just continue to build this thing the right way, you look at the landscape of college football and you think of the SEC, the Sun Division, we've got to get there. There's a lot of talent in this state. We got to get the right talent in these programs, and we want to be a division in a conference that sends a conference champion and an at-large to the playoffs because we want to be that competitive. And I think our commissioner Dustin Wilkie's that committed to getting this thing done.
And then in 2023, and no, you did not leave anyone out, but in 2023, you add Thomas to that already loaded conference as well, doing some interesting things in South Georgia. So you are entering your fifth season as the head coach of Keiser. And so interested to pick your brain a little bit about kind of building a second generation team where you're starting to run out of players who were there at the beginning, that were your foundational players. Talk to me about building that second generation and using that as a means to grow your culture.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time, and I've got a group of guys that I meet with, and if you looked at it, it's a cross section of our roster, and it's you look in there and there's Alessandro Cantillo, there's Sage Chen Young, who came to our program day one, no facilities, no season, had a practice season. Now we've already played 4 seasons. And then you look at guys like Byron Fraley, who've been around for a couple years, and then you look at guys like Jalen Willis, Wendell Feelord, Hunter Vanderpool. They're the new generation, guys on our roster. So it's kind of like, the handing over the torch to those guys. And, we've had a lot of consistency, with how we want to build this thing. We challenge our guys on a daily basis that we're looking for leaders, and we're not looking for guys that just want to lead by example. We're looking for guys that are going to hold their teammates accountable, that are going to call guys out when things aren't right. And we're making strides with that every day. So it's definitely, there is a transition. Obviously, we love having Sage around, and Cantillo and Cam Allen, and some of these guys that have been there for day one. And Marquise Burgess really came in for our first season, has been a starter ever since 2018. But you're going to see more and more faces, and new names that are really going to be the like you said, the second generation of our football program and our roster.
One thing that strikes me about Keiser, and I know the football program is one of the newer sports. I know, flag is obviously even newer, but creating that alumni base is something that's going to be creating itself within the next 5 or so years as you get more and more players through your program. But Keiser does have a wide alumni base outside of just your football program or just your athletic program. So my question to you is, how do you and your athletic department connect with those alumni and those fans to create ongoing support for Keiser athletics, both on and off the field?
So I think, one of the most unique things about Keiser is, we're down in West Palm Beach and we're the Keiser flagship program, but Keiser is seen throughout the state. And there's nearly 20,000 current students. There's thousands of alumni. There's the 21 plus campuses. So there's a strong foundation, and Kaiser's been around for a long time, and they obviously know how to do education, and athletics is relatively new. Obviously, football is relatively new. So we've got great fan support, and I think it comes down to where fans want to be part of a winner. And I think the reason we're winning is obviously we've got talented players, but we've got great alignment, and there's great administrative support. I'm talking from the office of the chancellor's office on down, through our athletic administration to our football program, and just there's great alignment and commitment to what we're doing, and just there's a good family atmosphere. There's a good team atmosphere on our campus. We're breaking ground for a multi-million-dollar complex for a swimming pool here soon, and our football coaches will be there in support of that. And just we've got, and then obviously the alumni from our football program is starting to grow, and and guys are starting to get jobs, and guys are gonna, we've got several guys that are gonna run for some NFL scouts. So at some point we're gonna have guys that are gonna have opportunities to play in the NFL. So it's all starting to come together, and it started with a vision back in 2017 when this thing started. And I just think there's just great alignment, and I think that just helps everything go. And there's great spirit in in being Keiser Blue.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Look forward to watching the Sun, and hopefully we'll get to catch y'all in person, like I said, up in Georgia in September. So thanks again for coming on the show.
You got it. Look forward to seeing you there.
All right, that's stopped, and stop recording. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIF Ball Podcast presented by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. Thanks also to Mommy Bay Turf and Turf Nation, as well as Leading Edge Fundraising for their support of the podcast. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the podcast as well as to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIFBALL and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.